The Florentine painters of the Renaissance. Florentine painting between Giotto and Michelangelo contains the names of such artists as Urcaina, Masaccio, Fra Filippo, this, and this. Botticelli. Put beside these the greatest names in Venetian art. Okay. Such artists as this. Okay, I don't want to say and here. It only comes at the end. And Botticelli. Okay. Okay, yeah, this and is wrong. So A and B are out. Yeah, so I need an and here. So it's C. Put beside these the greatest names in Venetian art, the Vivarini, the Bellini, Giorgione, Titian, and Tintoret. The difference is striking and significant. Okay. Put beside these the greatest names in Venetian art. Okay, so we are talking about Florentine versus Venetian. The difference is striking and significant. The choice best matches the other quality, significant. So it can't be this, striking. Yeah, I'll go with striking. That just fits the context. The significance of the Venetian names is exhausted with their significance as painters, not so much with the Florentines. Okay, what should you do with the parentheses? You obviously want to keep them. The significance of the Venetian names is exhausted with their significance as painters, not so with the Florentines. It's yeah, you need that because it's a non-restrictive. Yeah, so I would, it's not a change in tone, it's just something you need to have within parentheses. Forget that they were painters, they remain great sculptors. Forget that they were sculptors and still they remain architects, poets, and even men of science. They left no form of expression untouched, right? Something unventured. So they left no form of expression untried, right? That's the one that means that, they tried everything. They did not leave anything unventured. And to none could they say this will perfectly convey my meaning. Painting therefore offers but a partial and not always the most adequate manifestation of their personality. And we feel the artist as greater than his work and the man as soaring above the artist. It would be absurd, therefore, to treat the Florentine painter as a mere link between 2 points in a necessary evolution. The history of the art of Florence never can be, as that of Venice, the study of a placid development. Each man of genius brought to bear upon his art a great intellect, which never condescending merely to please, was tirelessly striving to reincarnate what it comprehended of life in forms that would fitly convey it to others. Okay. Okay. The immense superiority of the artist, even to his greatest achievement in any one art form, means that his personality was but slightly determined by the particular art in question, that he tended to mold it rather than let it shape him. This is his everlasting claim to greatness, and it is this which will make him a source of highest aesthetic delight for a period, at least as long as decipherable traces of his handiwork remain on moldering panel or crumbling wall. Well, it was of the power to stimulate the tactile consciousness of the essential, as I ventured to call it, that Giotto was supreme master. So we're talking about a Florentine painter. So are we talking about Giotto then? Okay, so I'm going to look at this again. At the risk of seeming to wander off into the boundless domain of aesthetics, we must stop at this point for a moment to make sure that we are of one mind regarding the meaning of the phrase artistic pleasure, insofar at least as it is used in connection with painting. Yeah, so I think it has to be C, because that is the only one that can connect with this next line when I'm talking about it would be absurd to treat the Florentine painter as a mere link between 2 points. but I don't know if they're referring to, okay. Um, but because Florentine painting was preeminently an art formed by great personalities, it grappled with problems of the highest interest and offered solutions that can never lose their value. Okay, so I'm talking about the Florentine painter in general. So maybe not C then, but he tended to mold it rather than let it. Okay. Uh, and in this endeavor, but because, okay. So what is the last I'm saying? Um Painting therefore offers but a partial and not always the most adequate manifestation of their personality. Okay. Uh, okay. I'll come back to this, right? In the same unconscious years, we learn to make of touch of the third dimension the test of reality. Uh, the painter must therefore do consciously what we all do unconsciously, construct his third dimension. This passage has not been developed properly, so let's move on. The first of the great personalities in Florentine painting was Giotto. Although, is this a question about paragraph? Uh, yeah, I think the paragraphs may not be in the correct order. The first of the great personalities in Florentine painting was Giotto, although he affords no exception to the rule that the greater Florentines exploited all the arts in the endeavor to express themselves. He, renowned as architect and sculptor, reputed as wit and versifier, differed from most of his Tuscan successors in having peculiar aptitude. Okay. Although he affords no exception to the rule that the great Florentines exploited all the arts. Exploited, right? That's a good use in this context, to exploit in an endeavor to express themselves. Definitely not C and D. Used could work, but exploited I think is better. But before we can appreciate his real value, we must come to an agreement as to what, in the art of figure painting, the craft has its own altogether diverse laws, is the essential. For figure painting, we may say at once, was not only the one preoccupation of Giotto. Psychology has ascertained that sight alone gives anyone no accurate sense of the third dimension. Sight alone does not give someone. Sight alone gives someone no accurate, yeah. So not anyone, someone. Um, in our infancy, long before we are conscious of the process, a sense of touch, helped on by muscular sensations of movement, teaches us to appreciate depth both in objects and in space, an extraordinary sense indeed. Okay. In our infancy, long before we are conscious of the process, the sense of touch, not, this is not a great passage, so I think they have not really worked very much on it. An extraordinary sense indeed. Yeah. Yeah, so this will be B clearly, because this is not a complete sentence, so you can't have a full stop or a semicolon, and this and is wrong, right? So okay, now we have, let's see, let's try and answer these. The author would like to insert this sentence to provide further support. It was also the dominant interest of the entire Florentine school. It was not only the one preoccupation of Giotto, it was also the dominant interest of the entire Florentine school. So this will come right after sentence 2, because it wasn't just the preoccupation of Giotto, it also extended to the entire Florentine school. Okay, let's try 43 again. In our infancy, the sense of touch, yeah, it's not B because we're talking about long before we are conscious of the process. Yeah, not C. Uh, yeah, and I think we need to talk about infancy, so A would make sense. Okay. Um, now this is, yeah, I think I'll just go with C in this case because I think okay. In the same unconscious years we learn, this I'll go with B because I think they introduced the idea of the third dimension. Yeah, but I'm not very happy with this passage. They haven't really worked on it. Okay. Mm, literacy. Yeah. 34 C. Okay. B A. Okay. What about this one? The significance of the Venetian name is exhausted with their significance as painters, not so with the Florentines. No, this is not a good answer. Definitely, it can't be C. So don't agree with this. Okay. 38, I'm just going to skip. Let's look at 39. D A C B A B D A C B A B.